How's it going, everyone? As you guys might know, the next couple of months are gonna be absolutely insane for game releases. What it's not gonna be insane for is your wallet, because it's gonna get absolutely eviscerated if you like to buy your games on day one. And you look at the slate of games coming in October, it's absolutely one of the most insane months I've ever seen in game release history. Assassin's Creed Mirage, Lords of the Fallen, Sonic Superstars, there's a Mario game, Marvel Spider-Man 2, Alan Wake 2, Ghost Runner 2, all that is just off the top of my head. There's certainly more games than that, but one game that I really thought was being sent out to slaughter is the Alone in the Dark reboot, and my oh my, thank you THQ Nordic, thank you Developer Pieces Interactive, thank you whoever made the decision to delay Alone in the Dark until January of 2024. It's a very slight delay, but this delay into January is going to make all the difference in the world. The game was scheduled for release on October 25th, literally sandwiched between the releases of Spider-Man 2 and Alan Wake 2. I'm sure I would imagine THQ Nordic did not predict that both those games were gonna come out right around the time of Alone in the Dark, but that was just a train wreck waiting to happen. It would have been one thing if only Spider-Man 2 came out on October 20th, and then, hey, Alone in the Dark would kind of come out after that. It would be a multi-platform title. I think it would still do okay, but you throw in Spider-Man 2 and Alan Wake 2 being a horror game as well, that is just gonna get the majority of the attention. I'm sorry, Alone in the Dark's been around for a long time, but it is not, it does not have the level of anticipation and hype that Alan Wake 2 has, especially with Alan Wake 2, I mean, being a 13-year build-up since the first title, and really a true sequel, where this is more of a reimagining and a remake. The official statement, they were completely transparent about it. Our intention is to avoid competing with the wake of Alan's epic release and evade the dazzling skyline of cities adorned by the graceful swings of Spider-Man. Hey, that is so transparent that I kind of appreciate that. None of this, we need more time to develop the game, but certainly you got a couple more months, that's ultimately going to help the game. We aim to truly remain as alone in the dark as possible. To honor this spine-chilling horror game has been rescheduled to unveil its horrors on January 16, 2024. Now, obviously, this extension will serve a dual purpose. Not only will it permit us to meticulously perfect the gaming experience, but it will also grant us the full opportunity to fully immerse ourselves in the remarkable release of October. Look, this happens sometime, and my oh my, do I wish that EA may have rethought releasing Titanfall 2 in October of 2016, right around Call of Duty Infinite Warfare, right around their own published first-person shooter in Battlefield 1, and, you know, shortly after the release of Overwatch, a couple months after Overwatch, but mainly Infinite Warfare and, Battlefield 1, and Battlefield 1 being an EA published game and them dropping Titanfall 2, that was just a head-scratching decision in my opinion, but nevertheless, I think this is gonna do Alone in the Dark really good, because as you guys might know, that late December into early January period, that is very much a quiet period for game releases. Sometimes you'll see, you know, a somewhat big release in early January, but I remember earlier this year, I feel like One Piece Odyssey got a lot more shine than it originally would have, just because it came out in that early January period. I think a lot of people were just looking for a game to play. I was kind of in that boat. You guys know me, I don't care about One Piece, but I was like, hey, there's not a lot of big games coming out, let me check out One Piece Odyssey, and I ended up really enjoying that game. I hope that Alone in the Dark gets a little bit of that. Now, I think January 16th works out really well, because as we get later into January, early February, I do fully expect the game releases to pick up there, especially if you're a JRPG fan. But the fact that we're a couple months removed from Alan Wake 2, I just think this is such a great thing, and ultimately it's really good for our wallets too, because October's still gonna, you know, it's still gonna be a brutal month if you're trying to pick up all the new releases. I think at the end of the day, most people are gonna stick to probably 2 games, and based on reading my comments, it seems like it's going to be a Spider-Man 2 and an Alan Wake 2. It's kind of unfortunate that those games are the ones that come out so close to each other, but I also see some people maybe picking up a third game, and that kind of comes down between Assassin's Creed Mirage and Lords of the Fallen. I personally am super excited for Ghost Runner, but I'm also excited for Alone in the Dark, and this was just one of those games where I saw this release date, and we talked about it when we talked about October's lineup and how crazy it is, but this game was being sent out to slaughter. Like, even if this game was really good, it would have to be a case of Alan Wake 2 just completely fumbling the bag, and like Spider-Man 2, like Spider-Man 2 is going to be really good, but it's an exclusive, so Obviously, the interest level in that game is gonna be high, don't get me wrong, but it's only gonna be so high based on it being available only on one platform. But we'll see how Alone in the Dark does, man. I really think this is gonna be a good thing for the game itself, and you know, something to consider. Delays are so common in gaming these days, and usually it's for a good reason. It's usually to delay the game, you know, for added time for polish and getting the game at a suitable state. But in this case, I just think this is such a great delay, and you know, situations like this don't arise that frequently, where it's just absolutely like I said before, sent out to slaughter. Like, I cannot describe it in any other way if this game was dropping on October 25th. Generally speaking, you don't see, you know, games at the level of a Spider-Man 2 and Alan Wake 2 sandwiching a release like this, and in the case of Alan Wake 2, being a game that's a direct competitor to a game like Alone in the Dark. So, you know, the older horror franchise getting a new entry, I just think, you know, Alan Wake 2 would have been trouble, and Spider-Man 2 just the icing on the cake on that. And not to forget, like, if you're picking up Assassin's Creed Mirage, Lords of the Fallen, I think most people are going to be capped at 3 games a month. Like, people don't got disposable income like that where they're going to pick up 5-6 games. Like, that's just not most people. And Alan Wake 2, Spider-Man 2, and either or on Assassin's Creed and Lords of the Fallen, I just feel like all would have taken precedence over Alone in the Dark for a lot of people, because how many horror games do you want to pick up in 1 month as well? Alone in the Dark, overview of the title from THQ Nordic, a love letter to the groundbreaking original that lets you experience a haunting story through the eyes of one of the 2 protagonists, play as either Edward Carnby or Emily Hartwood in this reimagination of the classic survival horror game where psychological horror meets Southern Gothic. Explore your environments, fight monsters, solve puzzles, and uncover the uneasy truth. Deep in the 1920s South, Emily Hartwood's uncle has gone missing. Together with private investigator Edward Carnby, she embarks on a journey to the manor, a home for the mentally ill, where something is lurking. You'll encounter strange residents, nightmarish realms, and dangerous monsters, and ultimately uncover the plot of rising evil. At the intersection of reality, mystery, and insanity, an adventure awaits that will change your core beliefs. Who can you trust? What will you believe? And what will you do next? Alone in the Dark does also have like a prologue available, a short introduction into the game that was received fairly well. That's available on PC, so if you do want to check that out, by all means, go for it. But I just think this is the best case scenario, and again, with that early mid-January period, that's the time for a game like this to really thrive. Like Alan Wake 2, I feel like that's a big enough game where it coming out around a lot of big games, that's not gonna hurt it at all, I don't think. I think if anything, that game's gonna get hurt by the lack of a physical release, but we'll see how much that even hurts the game. In the case of Alone in the Dark, excuse me, like, Alone in the Dark is the kind of game that hardcore gaming audience is probably excited for, but even that hardcore gaming audience, I mean, they got a limit to how many games that they can buy in a month, and I just felt like this one was not gonna do well if it did hit that October 25th date. But that's gonna do it for me. Sound off with all of your thoughts in the comment section down below. As always, thank you for watching, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.